Good morning. Today is Friday, April 17th, 2020. And on this day in history, we have another important historical fact, but it is a little more solemn. On this day in history, in the year 1790, Benjamin Franklin passed away. Benjamin Franklin was considered one of the founding fathers. He was a statesman, so kind of like a politician. He was a scientist. He was a writer. He did a lot. He contributed a lot to the country as it was starting up. So you can look up some of Benjamin Franklin's contributions, but on this day in history, so April 17th, 1790, he died. Okay, our word part of the day, it's another prefix, so it goes at the beginning of a word. I think this one you're going to be familiar with because it's pretty common. So the prefix is re, R-E, and it goes at the beginning of a word, and it means back or again. So some examples of words that have re as the prefix are rewrite, because you're writing it again, or you're going back to write it. What does that word say? Return, because you're giving something back. Or review, because you're going back and reading something, or you're looking at something again. So think about words that have re as the prefix. And if you're ever not sure of a word, if it starts with re and then it has a base word that you understand, like you know what the word write means. So if you weren't sure what rewrite means, now you know that re means back or again. So you could say, okay, I know what write means. Now I'll look at re, what does this mean? And that can help you be a word detective and figure out what the word means. Because the reality of reading in life is you're not always going to know every word that you come across. I don't know every word that I read in every book and that I see written everywhere, but if you have strategies in order to break down those words to understand them, or if you use the context of the sentence, like we were doing with our comprehension sentence of the day, to help you figure out what that word could mean, that's a great way in order to get past not knowing every single word in the world. Okay. Moving forward, our mindful strategy today is something that you can do if you're ever feeling very nervous, or you're feeling kind of in that yellow zone where you're feeling a little you're feeling sad or frustrated or worried. So it's a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So first, what you're going to do is if you're ever feeling nervous or worried, or you just can't seem to bring yourself back down into that green zone, you're going to look for 5 things just wherever you are. You're going to look around, look for 5 things you can see. Identify 5 things you can see. Then identify 4 things around you that you can touch. Okay? 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you could taste. It helps ground us and bring us back into the moment and be mindful of the things around us, and it anchors ourselves, so it helps to bring our emotions and our feelings. It helps to bring us back into the moment and focus on our surroundings, which can help our feelings if we're having a lot of big feelings. So I drew some little pictures if you want to pause and do this right now. So again, it's 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can taste. 3 things you can hear. I misspoke. And 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. So 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. So that's our mindful strategy for the day. Next, I have 2 math challenges for you. This one we've done in class a few times. I don't know if everyone's done it with their classes, but I'm going to show you 4 numbers. There's going to be 4 squares, and I'm going to show you 4 numbers. And I want you to figure out maybe which number doesn't belong, or what all of the numbers have in common, or what 3 of the numbers have in common. It's really just about explaining your thinking. So you and another person could be looking at the same thing and see something different from a different perspective, but as long as you explain your thinking and use that math talk and your explanation skills, then you could also explain to the other person what you're seeing, and they can explain it to you, and then you might see it from a different perspective, or that'll help the other person understand what you're seeing. So here are our numbers. You could pause the video if you would like. So there's 3, 27, 123, and 31. So what do the numbers have in common? What number does not belong? And explain your math thinking. You can email me your answers. So you can email me your thinking, and I'll email you back what my thinking was on that. The next math activity that I have for you has to do with factors. Factors are numbers that you multiply together in order to get a product. So a factor times a factor equals a product. So you're going to find factor pairs, and you could do it. This gives you a number to do it from first, but then you could pick another number, and you could you just find the factors of a different number. It doesn't have to be just this one. But the important thing is to discuss or use your math talk to talk about how you figured out the factors and how you know that that's all the factors that there are. So you could pause the video for this math challenge. You could do this with someone around you. You could do it with mom or dad, grandma or grandpa. Okay, so it's called Finding the Factors. So this is a fun activity for you to do. You could do it this weekend. You could talk about it. You could look for a number around you in your house. So numbers are all around us, even if you're not looking. So you could look at your house number, and you could say, okay, what are the factors of my house number? You could look at you could open up your cabinet and pull out a type of food and read a number on the back on the nutrition label, and you could find the factors of that. So there's numbers all around us, so you could see if you could figure out the factors of things. There's a difference between prime numbers and composite numbers. Prime numbers only have the factors 1 and the number. So like the number 5, it is a prime number. You can only multiply 1 and 5 in order to get to 5. But the number 6 is a composite number because it's... My dog just tripped over my computer cable. Sophie, are you okay? Okay. 6 is a composite number because it is composed of multiple factors. So you could multiply 1 and 6. You could multiply 2 and 3 in order to get to that product of 6. Now she's staring at me because she's upset about where I placed my computer charger. Okay. All right, and let's... today I thought I would add the quote of the day from R.J. Palacios' Wonder Precepts. So today's April 17th, so I'm going to read to you today's quote, and you could talk about it, or you could write about it, or you could just think about it. So April 17th. Use what talent you possess. The woods would be very silent if no birds sang except those that sang best. And that's by Henry Van Dyke. So think about that. Use what talent you possess. The woods would be very silent if no birds sang except those that sang best. Think about what that means. And we'll finish with a story cube. All right. Do this one. I really think we've done absolutely all of these, and we can come up with a different combination. Ooh, I like to do this. So, here I have 2 different emotions. I would call this one worried or upset, or however you interpret it. There's multiple ways to interpret a picture. And this one looks a little more happy, so either use this as a jumping off point to do a 1-sentence story tell, where each person tells the next sentence in the story, or write about these emotions, or maybe research the science behind emotions and feelings. Or how to draw different faces, or whatever you interpret these as, okay? So have a fantastic day. I hope you have a lovely weekend. You're all missed very greatly, and I hope you're showing care at home, and I can tell that you're working hard, so keep up the great work, and until next time, it's Miss G. See you soon.